Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm John Alcyone Stinn, and it is such a treat to spend this moment with you. Today's topic is, what is winning? Is it the Charlie Sheen Tiger Blood winning? Is it the Donald Trump name on a bridge and kind of winning? What is winning? And this was inspired by my last weekend tour of the Central California coast. And there's two data points in this analysis and this conundrum and this pondering that I've been processing. One was visiting the Henry Miller Library in the heart of Big Sur. Now, Henry Miller is someone who I was into very long time ago. I think the last time I read a page of Henry Miller was 20 years ago. But my memories of Henry Miller was he was this crass and really intense liver of life. And I was struck by kind of the passion and the aliveness that you felt in his prose as he talked about things that were often maybe dirty or hard to kind of stomach. But there was this kind of intense beauty to the embracing of all that life is. And kind of even like celebrating things that we've been trained to say are, oh man, you want to do whatever you can to avoid that kind of poverty. And here he was kind of in this type of poverty and finding a validity, finding a beauty to it. And so because it had been so long since I had read this, I wasn't that excited about going. But when we pull in to this place, and as soon as you get out of the car, it's just like quiet. And there's these redwoods and it's just thick trees and moss, and there's this moisture in the air, and it's just green and lush. And it's so pretty, and you're right on the coast of Big Sur, which is incredibly gorgeous. And as I went through the bookstore / library and reading notes on the wall and other authors who had been influenced, and just kind of starting to get a bits and pieces of this chapter of America when Henry Miller made Big Sur his home and wrote there, and then people started to come to seek out kind of being a part of the energy and vibe that he was embracing. And I'm in this place, and it's so beautiful, and it's so rich, and I know that, you know, a lot of things talk about living in cabins, and at the time I was staying in a mountain cabin that was very small and modest, and all of these experiences, I'm like, wow, what a powerful, many-pronged reminder of how incredible life can be, surrounded by beauty, surrounded by nature, and embodying freedom. While I was up there, I had no cell phone service, I had no ability to check the internet, I had no kind of reminders of the things that I'm supposed to be doing. Instead, was just being present and appreciating and noticing and feeling. And I thought more and more about what would have life been like, you know, if you were a writer and you made your purpose, your passion, the priority of your day was to live, and how incredible that would be in this location, even with modest means, you know, and the people that would come to be a part of this, you know, community that he was a part of in Big Sur. You know, people would come with tents, and I saw that at the Big Sur Library, there's an area that says "Don't go past your staff only," and it's just there's tents back there. I'm like, oh. So people would just kind of show up and want to work. And I don't know if that's true or not, but it was another reminder of, wow, from one mindset, all that matters is the experience of life. And you have to do a lot of shaking free of what you're supposed to do and the winning that you're supposed to achieve to get there. But when you're there, you can live gloriously while being a pauper. So later in the day, after visiting the Henry Miller Library, we visited Hearst Castle. William Randolph Hearst, the publishing magnate, the exceptionally one of the most wealthy men in the world at the time, apparently. And I've always heard about the Hearst Castle. You drive by, it's up on the hill in San Simeon, another part of the Central Coast, and it is insanely opulent. There are, incredible structures and art and edifices and ceilings, huge pieces that are taken from churches and historic places throughout Europe that have been built into this immense, obscene home. And you start to wonder, like, what kind of person puts this much money and resources into their home? I mean, thank goodness he entertained people, but it seemed like this ego-driven thing, and he brought in, famous people and movie stars, and there's all this list of people like Charlie Chaplin that was there, and they make a big deal about showing all the famous people that were there. Like, here he is with the so-and-so who started what became the Bank of America. And you're kind of like, how happy is this guy who's doing all this? Is he really like, is this person winning? I kept thinking, I don't feel like he is. They show this old-timey movie of Mr. Hearst, and he's dressed in a three-piece wool suit, on a hot summer day, and you're like, he's so governed by what he's supposed to be doing, what he thinks winning is, that he's spending crazy amounts and all sorts of craziness. And is he happier than somebody in a mountain cabin? I don't think so. And what does history say? Now, I found myself being really disturbed by all of these beautiful historic art pieces that were put into this private home. Now, thankfully, the family donated the home and is now a museum. So all of these things, like ceilings from churches and things, are now, viewable to the public. But I was kind of like, how does one acquire all of these sacred pieces from churches throughout Europe? I mean, are these like the spoils of war crimes and stuff? I have no idea. I'm not a scholar in this, but it just made me feel like, ugh. At the same time, there was a time when they had the largest private zoo in the world in this area, including polar bears, and they would have people bring in chunks of ice to put in the water so these poor, magnificent animals didn't suffer any more than they had to, or at least can only guess were not visually suffering, so that viewers that were so impressed wouldn't feel sad as they watched these glorious beasts just like... So, as busload and busload and busload of tourists is viewing this castle, and the storyline about the magnificent life of William Randolph Hearst is being told to us through IMAX films and Alex Trebek narrated audio, and I'm just like, I hope that this is not being presented as like American winning. This is what it looks like to win in America. Because a quick view of Wikipedia shows that William Randolph Hearst maybe not the kind of person we should be putting up on a pedestal. Here's a person who is responsible for helping bring yellow journalism to popularity. Yellow journalism, which is what we now call journalism, but basically like making things up. creating news in order to sell papers, in order to create false conflict, and able to influence politics, enable to get the U.S. into conflicts and wars based on kind of stretching or downright fabricating information and passing it off as news because you own the news. Yay! This is our winner. So I do appreciate that this Grand Castle is now a museum and we can see all of the art in it. I wish it was free from the storyline of American, entrepreneurship, because clearly there was a lot of people crushed and hurt in the process. It seemed like more of a demonstration of class incongruity and financial disparity in the world than it did about, yay, capitalism. But it also just seemed like this over-exaggerated demonstration of what happens when you keep winning at what you've been told is winning, but never quite feel like you hit the finish line. How grotesque your expressions in the world can be when you don't have the grounding of self-knowledge, of personal purpose, of service, of artistic creation. At the end of life, as Henry Miller is looking over the tomes that he has written and the people that he has influenced, I would guess there were some nights when you feel like he slept pretty soundly. He actually wrote this. He wrote a book on turning 80, and he said, "If at 80 you're not a cripple or an invalid, if you have your health, if you still enjoy a good walk, a good meal with all the trimmings, if you can sleep without first taking a pill, if birds and flowers, mountains and sea still inspire you, you are a most fortunate individual, and you should get down on your knees morning and night and thank the good Lord for his saving and keeping power." Henry Miller at 80. I haven't done enough research to hear or read what Hearst said at 80, or if he lived to 80. I apologize, Wikipedia, I did not memorize you, but I'm starting to feel like maybe there is a lot of stronger argument in the winning definition of someone spending their life in the pursuit of their art and their truth. And speaking of life in the pursuit of truth, I would not be able to talk about winning and purpose and truth today if I didn't acknowledge Caitlyn Jenner. Yes, Bruce Jenner showed or demonstrated. There's a Vanity Fair cover that came out today, which is the new identity of who once was Bruce Jenner, who once demonstrated what winning was to the world. The American hero decathlete Bruce Jenner, all this time, was not winning inside. And, I think I was amongst many people when I first saw pictures of him looking kind of ridiculous, and I had feelings of judgment, and I was kind of waiting for the jokes and, open to laughing at this kind of hard to understand person, especially because he's wrapped in and connected to the Kardashian clan, which I have a partially unbased, but partially, I think, justified bitterness towards this exceptionally wealthy people who put their problems online for us to go, oh, while they wonder which rug they need to put in their new wing of their summer home. Anyway, my point is, I was not a big fan, and I was persuaded to watch some of the coming out or videos, not coming out, but the Kardashian shows where Meet Bruce, I think was the title of it, and it was a two-parter where he talked to his family, and I was really struck by whatever has happened in the past, the truth is that this is a family who has made their lives very public. And this process of Caitlin, I have to keep checking out, what's the name? Caitlin, going through and talking through with this family, I found to be incredibly beautiful, incredibly brave. Now, is it all done, publicly, and is there all sorts of reasons why we should judge it? Yeah, but look, this is a person who is public, and they could keep going indefinitely of being this, vapid display of wealth, and instead decided that there is no winning without the pursuit of truth. And whatever consequences come, and thankfully, I think they've done this presentation and this unveiling pretty strategically and masterfully. The overall chorus has been, go, Caitlin. But it didn't have to go that way. There was 100 different ways that this could have gone, and still could go, of humiliation and ridicule and judgment. And in fact, oh man, you got just read the comment section from TMZ today and realize how many people are so much more comfortable ridiculing Caitlin than accepting. But what powerful demonstrations of truth and of the pursuit of truth. And even Hearst, Hearst is someone who did some things that were outside the status quo. They were so excited to say during the tour, and they even had on the grand table, they had out ketchup and mustard in the bottle, the Heinz bottle, because that's how much of an iconoclast he was. He would actually put it out there on the table like that, just rocking tradition and just in the face of this opulent world. He just was like of the people with his mustard and ketchup. I'm like, wow. But there were other things. He hired a woman architect, and his wife and he separated and decided to try to make it work like that. And he took another lover who was with for his whole life. And so I don't know if that was an act of extreme cruelty towards his wife, or an act of bravery in the face of common norms for the time. I know that his political careers were kind of trumped by his lifelong affair while he was still married, as I understand from Wikipedia and other sources. But to pull it all together, here you've got Hearst, who has everything in the realm of wealth and still, can't buy happiness. It seems like it. You can surround yourself with the rich and famous. You can bring a polar bear to the desert. You can take a sacred church ceiling and sleep underneath it. It doesn't make your heart whole. It doesn't make you vibrate in your purpose. What does that take? It takes being so radically honest with who you are that you look the world in the eye and say, boom, I'm Caitlin. Or you write something so pure and real to you that the U.S. says that's pornographic and it's banned, which happened to Miller. In his time, his work was banned for being so too much. That's winning. Winning is when everything around you says, no, 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 don't say that you're a woman inside. Don't write that thing. And you go, I can't help it. It's what I am. And time will eventually show that to be exactly what you're supposed to do, exactly what winning is, exactly the path required for greatness. Not greatness in the sense of having a castle named after you, greatness in the sense of playing your part in the grand symphony perfectly and affecting people with honor and integrity and love. that self-love, that honest expression, that living in integrity. I think we all are capable of doing that. It just takes a heck of a lot of courage. So thank you to the winners of history who are not crushed by their environment, but are able to last and long enough that we're able to see those flowers lasting through time, and we can cling to that beauty and go, right, that is the kind of winning that I want in my life. That is the kind of shine that I want to emulate. Not emulate, because my shine is exactly me and purely mine. But that flower was not understood, and now we see how beautiful it is. I need to let my flower be beautiful too. Thank you for being the beautiful flower you are and nurturing it, even if the world around you is not giving you the nutrients and the sunshine you need. Hopefully we can do that for one another. Thank you for shining light on me so I can try to bloom as well. Thank you. I love you.